Welcome to the third annual Celebrating Graphic Novels workshop, brought to you through the partnership of Telling Tales and the Hamilton Public Library. I'm Naomi Brunn, Youth Services Program Development Manager at the Hamilton Public Library, and I'm thrilled to bring you the fun of this graphic novel workshop right to your home, this year through the magic of digital technology. HPL has partnered with Telling Tales since their very beginning because we share a mission. We promote literacy by connecting young readers to inspiring storytellers like the one I'm about to introduce. Tory Woollcott has made all kinds of graphic novels, including a fairy tale, a memoir about growing up with dyslexia, and a very graphic guide to how the human brain works. She loves Dungeons and Dragons, science, and comic books of all kinds. Tory is here to help you write and illustrate your own comic strip using the time-honored KnockKnock joke as your guide. If you haven't done so already, download Tory's activity sheets at tellingtales.org and go to Celebrating Graphic Novels, or go ahead and make your own by following along. Tory, what's your favorite KnockKnock joke?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Old lady.
Old lady who?
I didn't know you could yodel.
That's a good one.
It's a very bad. My favorite thing about knock knock jokes is that they are all bad.
Right.
There's no such thing as a
They're
good knock knock
jokes.
joke.
Yeah.
You don't hear a knock knock joke and go, oh yeah. You hear a knock knock joke and go, Like if somebody laughs at your knock knock joke, you did it wrong. They're supposed to groan. The response is a groan, and that makes me very happy.
Okay. So I guess I'll go, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, what I want to do before I get started is I want to talk about why I want to use a knock knock joke as like the basis of a comic strip.
Okay.
Because I think that a lot of people get really hung up and really scared about making the story part of a comic.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to be like, right now, let's just make a few comics and have fun with it and just play with it and play in the space. So I want to show the principle of telling a story in a visual way. So that's what I want to use knock knock jokes for. And you can use any knock knock jokes. You can use any kinds of jokes if you just want to make a really straightforward, easy comic. And then you can use the things that we learned together right now to make comics in the future.
Sounds great.
Okay, I'm doing a lot of handwork right now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so that we can draw some stuff together.
So I'm going to take mine off.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so share and I hope everybody can't see how many tabs I have open because that's embarrassing.
Oh. Now we just need a T, so let's take a look and see. Yep, there we go. Perfect.
There we are. Okay, so first thing I want to do is show you two characters that I'm going to use. I'm going to use Olive. This is Olive. Olive is very happy to meet you.
Oh. Nice to meet you, Olive.
And this is Grape. Also very happy to meet you.
Hello, Grape.
And I think the thing that I want you to notice the most about Olive and Grape is that they're very simple. They're very easy, very simple, very straightforward characters. They're easy to draw. They're really, really fun. And I want everybody to feel free to draw Olive and Grape because they're the best and they're very easy to draw. So first thing we're going to do, and I want to tell you a little bit about this computer program I'm using. It's called Mischief, but the only reason why I'm using Mischief particularly is because it's really similar to just drawing by hand on paper and like with a paper and pencil. And so I just wanted to have something really, really, really straightforward. So don't worry about the program, just pretend like I'm drawing on paper.
Got it.
Okay, awesome. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do another one of my favorite knock knock jokes, which is, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read it. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Lettuce.
Lettuce who?
Let us in.
Oh no.
Yeah, right? It's terrible. I love it. So we're going to draw our comic. So first things first, draw let's say, who wants to do the start of the joke? I think it's going to be grape. Grape in here. And when you're drawing a character, it's important to know what kind of emotion they're having when they're in that moment, right? So if somebody's starting a knock-knock joke, they're being snarky, right? Like they're always sort of starting something a little bit, right? So they probably have a little bit of a cheeky smile, right? So they're like, oh, hi. This is me trying to do, oh no, that's a little bit sad. So let's try that again. Let's do a little bit of a, yeah, there we go. A little bit of a sly kind of face, like, ooh, what are you up to? And then if you know that you're getting a knock-knock joke told to you, you're probably a little bit like, ugh, all right.
So the straight eyebrows.
Who's there? Straight eyebrows are key. Straight eyebrows are the best. And then, as is usually the thing with a knock-knock joke, is a little bit of a know-it-all. So let's give them a know-it-all face. I always find that I make this face when I'm being like a know-it-all. I'm just going like, oh yes, this is me telling you something. Yeah. Yes, with my eyes like half-lidded, closed. Lettuce. And then I find when I get told a knock-knock joke, I start getting a little bit curious. So maybe we'll give them a little bit of a like, oh, maybe this might be funny. Maybe I'll give it a shot. All right, lettuce who? Okay, I'll hear what you have to say. And then let us in. Let's make this character really big. Because they're gonna go, let us in. Ah, with a big mouth. Big crazy eyes, squiggly big eyes. Yes, let us in with big hands. And then where did Olive go? We'll put Olive over here. No, blown away. And that is how easy it is to draw your first comic. How long would that take us?
No, that looks great.
Mere moments it took us to draw our first comic, right? But the main thing that I want to like say is like how much fun it is to draw faces, which is why I like drawing these really, really simple characters, because it's so much fun to just get to like play with the characters' faces, right? So like I like a good like straight eyebrow, and then you can get like a really good grumpy face, right? And then you can get like a, let's do it all at once. So let's say like a really, really happy, like really ecstatic face, you know? The thing I really love about comics is getting to make really, really weird faces. This one's almost scary.
Yeah.
All right, so let's make another knock-knock joke. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Can you ever really be ready for a knock-knock joke?
Oh.
No. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Owls say.
Owls say who?
That is correct. Owls do say who. Eh?
Yeah, I got it.
It's terrible. So what can we do to make this one a little bit funnier? What can we do to make the aspect of it that's visual stand out a little bit more? So what if we turn our character into an owl? So how about if Olive, instead of being an olive this time, we're going to make Olive an owl?
Okay.
Okay, so, oh goodness, if I can draw an owl, okay. Kind of looks like an owl, right?
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I always find? I find people are way too worried about their drawings looking really, really great. And I'm always like, that's not the point. The point's to have fun and to communicate your feelings and what you're trying to say in your story. It doesn't have to be like the next Picasso, you know what I mean?
Well, that's a pretty darn good owl, too.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. It looks great.
Oh, that's totally the secret. Keeping things simple. Okay, and then we're gonna go with grape. And this time I feel like Grape's actually sincerely like, who is that? Who is this person? Who's at my door, right? So let's give more of a quizzical face. These big eyebrows going up and down and like, this person, right? Okay. Yeah. And then this is very
skeptical. Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna do the same, like I will say, with the nice like closed eyes, being like, know-it-all. I will say. And then again, like a sincerely like, I don't know who this person is. Let's make. I'm not even gonna put a mouth on him. I feel like that's very like, wait, what?
You're saying it all with the eyes.
Yes. Communication, eye communication. All right, and then I think another very big. This time we're gonna do it very big. Owl wing. I'm a professional artist. Trust me, I could draw wings. It's all fine. Energy lines going off. I suppose the other part of the body. And I kind of want to try. How would an owl smile? How would an owl smile? Does that kind of look good? Yeah.
That's great.
And then we'll draw grape in the background. Oh no. I got. Oh.
And the 3 little lines above Owl's head, is that for motion or like?
I was thinking it was like flashing, swinging their wings around, being like just showing off that they've told this amazingly terrible joke. That's super super good.
Too happy about it.
No. Nobody's ever happy about having been told a knock-knock joke. I think that's absolutely key. So I have 2 more.
Okay.
Examples. So are you ready again? I always feel like I need to prepare you.
All right. I am right here.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Be.
Be who?
Be nice and let me in.
Okay.
So what can we do with this one to make it funnier? What can we do to zhuzh this one up with a little bit more? I feel like we could definitely do making the character a bee, which I think would be very fun. I do enjoy a good bee. Let's see if I can draw a bee. I think I could draw a bee, right? That seems within my...
You could totally draw a bee.
I could totally draw a bee. All right, so I'm going to start with a black color. One time, somebody told me that bees were black with yellow stripes, not yellow with black stripes.
Okay.
And I remember thinking that that was the silliest piece of information I'd ever received in my entire life.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. But I always think about it, so maybe it was important. I don't know. I think about it all the time. But let's just get this bee some yellow on his bottom. There we go. Go back to our black and draw a face. Okay, so again, what kind of face for a knock-knock joke? Well, maybe let's try playing this in a different way. Maybe he isn't doing a knock-knock joke this time. Maybe he is actually knocking on the door. So instead of a knock-knock joke, we're going to do like an actual interaction.
Okay, great.
So I'm going, So I'm going to draw a door. Over here, nice doorknob. And if I was going to be drawing it, I would move this word balloon down a little bit to make it a little bit more clear.
Right.
But we're not going to do that right now. We'll do that if we draw it over again.
Okay.
And you know that's the big secret to comics. Honestly, the biggest secret to comics is being very comfortable to draw things over again. There, now everybody can be a professional comic artist.
Nope.
I've given away the store. Okay, so this time it's on the inside of the house, and let's make it Olive this time, because Olive's been perpetuating the jokes and deserves to get one told. So I'm going to do my eyebrows again. But maybe how about Olive's a little bit wise to it? You know, like Olive's like,
okay.
I think I know what's going on here.
This is Olive's third joke.
This is Olive's term to get a joke told to him, right?
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I feel like this is Olive's sweet revenge. I'm trying to draw this bee again. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, drawing bee wings is very fun. Everybody should draw lots of bee wings. They're the best. Oops. I want to draw very happy eyebrows. There we go. And some nice little stripes. And and some yellow. You always need a little bit of yellow, I think. There we go. But what can we do? Let's add some energy in here. So how about nice little pink hearts?
That sounds good.
Nice. There we go. All right. Now, may I ask you a question?
Go for it.
How long have we been talking?
27 minutes.
27 minutes. So in 27 minutes, you and I have created 3 comics.
That's right.
3 comic strips. And I think that is pretty impressive, personally.
That was
Check it
awesome
out.
to me. That's
Right?
perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I feel like there's this, I think it's important that you get to finish your comics. Do you know what I mean? Because I find sometimes when we first start making comics, that we make them really, really complicated, really, really difficult, and it's hard to finish them, and then we lose steam and we feel like we can't finish what we're doing. But if you know what the joke you want to tell, you know the story you want to tell, you can do it really quickly and have a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome. And these look great, and they tell some really, really fun stories back and forth. That's terrific.
Can I tell you one more knock joke?
Go for it.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting sleuth.
Interrupting sleuth. Who?
Sloth.
Okay. Very good. That's awesome.
Right? I had
Yeah.
way too much fun finding. Okay, so I have one more knock knock joke in the handout, but how about we do the sloth one, or sloth or sloth one together, and maybe if anybody who's here wants to do their own versions of these, they can send them in and show them to us.
Perfect.
That sounds really fun. So I'm gonna leave the donut one, but I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, ready?
Sure.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Donut.
Donut who?
Donut be mean, let me in.
That's great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
I got it.
They're all wonderful. They're all very, very, very good. But let's do the sloth one, because then we can draw the squares together and have all sorts of fun. So in a comic book, the squares, these things, are called panels. And panels are the windows that your story gets told through. So you get to look at the panels to know what's going on. So what we know, and I'm telling things a little bit out of order, but the next and most important thing is the word balloons.
Okay.
Because the word balloons are what tells the story. Not all comics need word balloons. You can do a lot of comics with no words at all, but I always think they're helpful and important. So I like to keep words in my comics most of the time. So a really good piece of advice I got was it's a good idea to put your word balloons in first, because then you know how to fit the story in. Whereas if you put the balloons in second, you're covering up some of your art.
Oh, that's a really good tip. Right?
So let's go knock. Well, I don't want to spend too much time writing stuff down, so I'm just going to write knock knock, because we know that's going to knock knock. And then we know that the next thing is going to be who's there. So I'll just put WT, who's there. I'll put a little question mark in there too. And we're going to draw, oh my gosh, how do I draw a sloth? Okay. I know they have a cute little nose. And I know they have tiny little ears.
Yeah.
And don't they have square poo?
I think so.
Yeah, they have weird poop, which I think is very interesting, but I can't remember exactly what. Okay, and I know they have cute little claws.
Yep. Oh, that looks like a sloth.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I know that in the Ice Age they were gigantic. They were absolutely huge, and they would dig caves, and it was really cool. All right, and then you know what? I'm going to draw me. This is me. Because I always wanted to hold a sloth, so I'm going to say it's me. And that's that was supposed to be my bow. That's my bow on top of my head. Okay.
Perfect.
So knock knock, who's there? And we know it's going to be interrupting sleuth. Okay, I did not know, but it turns out Sloths are my favorite thing in the world to draw. I love them. They are the best.
Well, they're pretty darn cute. It's true. Yeah.
Okay, interrupting sloth. And then let's do a very silly face because I have a very silly face, so it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Self-portraits are the best and most fun thing in the world to draw. And I'm like freaking out because sloths are so cute. So I'm making this like a very silly face because I'm absolutely in love with a sloth. Oh, see, I did that mistake where I didn't do the word balloon.
That's awesome.
I made that mistake where I didn't put the word balloon in first.
Yeah.
So who?
Yeah.
And then this is where the funny part is, because the joke is that interrupting sloth, who, and then sloth has to take a really long time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to draw one really big panel on the bottom. And then the word balloon is really, 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 really long.
Great.
And then how about I just draw my feet up in the air because it was so unfunny that I fell down.
Right.
Those are my little shoes.
Yeah.
And that's smoke coming off of my head because my brain exploded from the joke. There you go.
Perfect. That looks great.
Yeah. So the whole thing is use the knock-knock jokes to learn how to make a comic and then start playing with it and go crazy and draw all sorts of fun stuff. Have a very good time.
That's fantastic.
Comics are for. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Okay, I'll turn my camera back on then too.
And then you can.
Great. Well, thank you, Tory, so much for joining us here today. But Tory, before we continue, I'm just wondering if you have time for a few questions.
I definitely do.
Okay.
I always have time for questions.
Okay, perfect. So here we go. Okay. Earl Kitchener Elementary School has sent in a few questions, and then we have a few questions from others as well. So are you ready?
I am ready. I am ready.
Okay, perfect.
I'm worried you're going to sneak a knock-knock joke in there, but I'm ready.
No knock-knock joke. But here's the first question. Why do you like cartoons?
Oh, goodness. I like cartoons because I feel like they're a really wonderful way to communicate how you feel. Because sometimes it can be really hard to say what your feelings are because they're complicated and it's difficult to have people hear you all the time. But I feel like if somebody draws it out, I can see how they feel about the story they're telling.
Right.
In a way that's a little bit more difficult in like a TV show all the time. And I also like that when I'm reading like a comic book, that it's activating more parts of my brain. You know, like when I'm reading a prose book, which I also love reading prose books as well. But when I'm reading a prose book, it's just words, and that's great. But when I'm reading a comic book, it's words and drawings. So it's like two amazing tastes that taste great together. So
that's awesome. And I like that way of describing it too. I haven't heard that before, and that's really, really cool.
It's fun. Yeah. I like how I feel like there's so much happening in my brain when I read a comic, and that after I read a comic, I'm feeling very like jazzed up and I want to go make my own comic in a really fun way, and I want to go draw like art of what happened in the comic. I find it's very interactive. Not that prose books aren't. I'm just saying that's how I feel about comics.
Totally. No, absolutely. So I have another question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
So what happens when you're finding something really tricky to draw? Do you have advice for kids when they're drawing and they find it tricky?
Yes.
Okay.
Things are hard to draw. That's the first, like, you have to accept that things are going to be hard to draw. The secret to it, if you want to learn how to draw something, is you have to have a reference of that thing that you want to draw. So if you want to draw a bicycle, find a picture of a bicycle. Sometimes it's easier if you have your own, you can go outside and take a picture of that, or you can look it up on the internet and find a picture of a bike that way, and then look at that drawing and draw it. And
Okay.
look at it and look at it. And if you can, I find tracing can be really helpful. So if you take a picture of a bike and you can hold it up to the window and you can put a piece of paper over top of it, you can trace it. Figuring stuff like that out as you go will help your brain understand how that shape works.
Okay, great.
When you want to learn how to draw something really, really well, it involves a lot of different stuff in your brain working together to make it happen. You have to be really patient with yourself and give yourself a lot of time to figure it out if it's hard, like bicycles. I'm sorry, bicycles are very hard.
Okay.
Bicycles and horses.
Lots of different parts. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, if you want to know the hardest thing in the world to draw, draw a person holding a bike in an alleyway with a car at the back of the alleyway.
That sounds like a very complicated picture.
It's so hard. I've had so much trouble drawing it. And eventually I gave it because I was trying to find like reference on the internet. I was trying to figure it all out. I couldn't get it to do. So eventually I actually got one of my friends and her bike and an alleyway. I took a picture of it and I took a bunch of pictures of it and then I used that as reference. And I feel like, oh yeah, that's the best thing in the world. And I still have a lot of trouble drawing bikes. And so whenever I have to, I like look up pictures, I take pictures, I do all sorts of stuff.
So then using real life, like figuring out what does the thing look like in real life, and then kind of using that to inform what you're doing. So that's your advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Completely.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. And then I have one last question for you. So what about keeping motivated? So what about if you're drawing and you sort of feel a little bit discouraged and that sort of stuff, just keeping motivation going. I had somebody ask a question about that. So what do you have any tips for staying motivated?
That is such a good question because it is really, really hard. And I was talking to somebody a little while ago, and I said this thing, and when sometimes you say something and you're like, oh, that is true. But I hadn't thought about it that way before, but it just came up in sort of a conversation and it made a lot of sense. You can enjoy a piece of pizza before you can make your own pizza.
Okay.
So I can go downstairs, I can order a slice of I'm a big fan of Hawaiian, a big slice of Hawaiian, got the pineapples on it, all that stuff. I just love that pizza. And it's the best pizza I've ever had.
So you're like a pro pineapple pizza person.
I am pro pineapple.
Yes, okay.
I'm sure I'm going to get some hate mail about it, but I love pineapple. Also pineapple on a hamburger. Anywho, that's another conversation. But you can really, really love this pizza. And it's the best. So I really love Smile and Amulet. I love them. They're the best. But that doesn't mean I know how to cook a pizza yet.
Right.
It doesn't mean I know how to draw Amulet or Smile yet.
Okay.
So if you want to be able to cook an amazing pizza, it takes time. You have to learn how to throw it up in the air. You have to learn how to put the sauce on. You have to learn how to put the cheese on. It takes time. And the more pizzas you make, the better and better and better it's going to be. So if you start feeling discouraged or your drawings aren't looking the way you want them to look, just remember you're getting better and better at making the pizza. And sometimes you need to stand up, walk away from it for a minute, but always come back. Give yourself a brain break. Get up, draw something else. If you're trying to draw a sloth, and you're trying to draw a sloth, and it's just not working, look up some pictures, look at some reference. But if you're just feeling frustrated, it's okay to be frustrated. Frustration is an important emotion. It's not bad. You're allowed to get up, walk around the room, do something else for a minute, and then come back.
So it's part of not getting there yet. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. You just keep doing it. And you just keep doing it, and eventually it'll come.
And I think the most important thing is frustration. Feeling frustrated at a drawing means that your brain is accessing and understanding that it needs a second to process that information that you're doing.
Okay.
If you're feeling frustrated, that's not bad. That just means you have to look at it from another perspective and do something different. It's good. It's a good feeling. So if you're feeling a lack of motivation or you're feeling burnt out or stressed out, give yourself a second. Draw something else. Draw a flower. Draw something different to get your brain back into the right zone. Walk around. Draw a knock-knock joke comic, and then come back.
Awesome. Well, that is great. Thank you so much, Tory, for answering these fantastic questions.
They were really good questions.
Yeah, I know. The kids sent in really, really awesome ones. Yeah, and again, thanks for having invited kids to post some illustrations, because that leads us to what I was about to talk about next. And huge thanks as well to Telling Tales for bringing us all together with the Hamilton Public Library. To keep exploring at home, make sure to check out the Books by Tory and HPL's catalog. And while you're there, discover HPL's Summer Reading Club, featuring the 2020 Telling Tales Reading Club titles that are part of our reading lists. A special thanks goes out to the staff and students at Hamilton Wentworth Catholic District School Board and Hamilton Wentworth District School Board for their partnerships and their participation in this wonderful series of workshops. Telling Tales has a creativity club on the Telling Tales website, so you can send in things there. You can also send things into HPL Make Something. And again, when you're on Telling Tales and you're on the site, take a look at their bookmark contest and get your creations in before July the 31st for judging. And also, just wanted to let everybody know too that these workshops have been recorded and that they're going to be available on Telling Tales website if people want to check them out. And please join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. For Sylv Chang, who's going to be talking about how to make your own avatar, which is going to be pretty cool and pretty exciting. And again, keep an eye on the website for our virtual festival, which is going to launch September the 20th. So we're going to have lots of people in and presenting, discussing, sharing lots of great books with everyone. We're grateful for these organizations who make workshops like this one very possible. And also we want to connect stories with you all year long. So please follow the Telling Tales Dragonfly newsletter for more events. Watch for contests, check out the 2020 reading list, and submit your stories and illustrations to the Telling Tales Creativity Club. Happy storytelling.
Bye.
Absolutely.